The PPPwn exploit for PlayStation 4s on firmware 11.00 can be a bit of a faff to activate with network cables, setting up a PC connection, and running various bits of code. But not if you use a PPPwn Luckfox hack kit. So let's have a go. Hi and welcome to Bytes and Bits. I've been playing around with my PlayStation 4 recently to mod it with the PPPwn network exploit, and that allows me then to install the GoldHEN homebrew enabler software. Now, I did make a video on the basic bare bones version of this hack in this one on screen at the moment, so please do have a look through that. Now, in that video, I went through the exploit process step by step, using a connection over Ethernet from the PlayStation 4 to my Windows PC. And that was great to show the exploit process and how all of the parts of that hack then fitted together. But it was a bit cumbersome. You have to physically run an Ethernet cable from the console to your PC, run a Windows app on the PC to trigger the exploit, and then load the code, and then force the PlayStation to talk to the PC to enable GoldHEN. And since GoldHEN resets if your console powers down or crashes, you have to go through that whole setup each time that you want to enable it. Now, this is made slightly better by allowing GoldHEN to stay active during rest mode, but there is still a slight issue in the exploit which can cause the console to crash while shutting down. So you do have to reset GoldHEN often enough to make it a pain. So in this video, we're going to be using a really neat little PlayStation 4 hacking kit which comes in this little dongle. So let's see what this is. The hack kit is based on the PPPwn Luckfox project, and you can find out more about this on this GitHub repository page. Now, in the kit, you'll get an RJ45 dongle that will plug into the network port of the PlayStation 4, a USB thumb drive which has the GoldHEN payload software on it, a USB-C cable to power the dongle, and a nicely printed, but in my case totally useless manual. Now, these kits are available on AliExpress for around about £16, and again, I'll put some links to that in the description down below. But basically, the dongle you get is a Luckfox Pico Plus microcontroller neatly packaged in the plastic case so that you can easily leave it plugged into your PlayStation 4. Now, I usually do like to run these projects from the base electronics, but in this case, the cost of a Luckfox device plus a short Ethernet and USB-C cable was going to be almost as much as the fully packaged and set up system. Plus, you do end up then with the device hanging off the back of the console on the end of a network cable. So this kit, it just seems like such an easy choice with zero setup. Now, if you're interested in seeing how to make your own Luckfox device, then please do let me know in the comments, and I'll have a look at making a video on that at some point. Now, having said that, I am planning on a Raspberry Pi version of this hack quite soon, which has a range of other advantages over this particular method, so please do keep an eye out for that one. So now that we have a kit, we need to do some preparation on the PlayStation itself. So first off, we need to confirm we're using a compatible official firmware version. So if you power on the console and go to your settings and system menu, you can scroll down to the bottom of that to find the system information, and then check your firmware version. Now, the kit will mod most firmware versions up to 11.0, so between 9 and 11.0. So if your version is unfortunately greater than 11, then you're out of luck at the moment. Now, as I make this video in May 2025, there is a version 12 hack coming out pretty soon, hopefully. But until then, you're going to have to wait. Just make sure not to update your firmware any further. Now, if you're below 11.0, then you do need to decide if you're going to update to version 11. Now, I did choose to update mine to get better compatibility with newer games and DLC content, but you don't have to if your firmware version is one of the supported ones. Now, I've put a list on the screen at the moment to show which ones are currently supported, which is pretty much all of them from 9.00 up to 11.00. If you do want to upgrade, then please do have a look at my original PS4 PPPwn video. Again, I covered the process in there, and it saves me repeating it again in this particular video. Well, that's everything that we need to check. So let's mod our PlayStation. So to connect the kit, you need to plug the dongle into the network port at the back of your PS4. Now, this dongle needs power, so you'll either need to run the supplied USB-C cable from the dongle to a front USB port, or if you're using a Pro console like me, there is one right next to the network port at the back of the machine. Lastly then, the supplied USB drive simply gets plugged into another USB port, and we're all set up and ready to go. So with everything all plugged together, we now need to jump onto the PlayStation 4 to set things up there. So first, we need to turn off all automatic updates. So go into your settings, and then System, and then Automatic Downloads, and untick all of the options. Now, if your console runs a firmware update, it will probably take you to too high a version to run GoldHEN, so we really do need to turn these features off. Next, we need to set up our network connection to work with the dongle. So this is where my included instructions went very badly wrong. I did spend a while trying to work out why my PlayStation 4 simply would not talk to my dongle, and it wasn't until I decided that I'd probably have to reflash the Luckfox microcontroller that I went to the support site. And there I found a very helpful video that showed me the actual activation process, and again, it was nothing like the instructions. So please do check your instructions, and I would visit the support site first. Most likely, obviously, you will probably be using the same tool as me. They're all sort of fairly generic tools, so you'll probably be going to the p4-tool.com website that I'm using here. So back on the console, we need to go into our settings, and then we need to go to the network set. We want to set up an internet connection, and we'll be using the LAN cable to connect through the network port. Now, we will want to use custom settings, and our IP address settings will be for PPP over Ethernet, so the PPPoE. The PPPwn exploit, it actually uses a bug in the PlayStation 4's PPPoE code to allow it to inject the homebrew code into the console. So next then, we need a specific username and password, not any random value that you might have used in the previous video that I made, or as it says in the instructions. So both the PPPoE username and the password both need to be PPP, so 3 lowercase p's. Then you can select Next. So for this next bit then, so our DNS should be automatic, and MTU should also be automatic, and we don't want to use a proxy server. So when you get to this end screen, we don't want to test our connection, we want to use our circle button to get back out to the main XMB. And here then we're going to need to run the web browser. So once that's up and running, we need to go into our address bar and type in the address 10.1.1.1. So this IP address will actually connect you to the Luckfox microcontroller plugged into the back of your machine. So once you type in that address, you'll get to the web control panel, which is actually running on our Luckfox microcontroller. So you should see the web page that's on screen at the moment. If you then use your left joystick and X to go down and select the config button, we should then get to the config page. And this is then where we can now set up how the Luckfox PPPwn code is going to work with our console. So it needs to use different code payloads for each firmware version. So we need to start by selecting the matching PS4 firmware settings to your console. So again, here my console is on 11.00, so I'm going to select that bottom option. Once we select that, the rest of the settings can really be left as they are until you get down to these checkboxes. So auto retry should be on. If it's not, please do turn it on. And what that does, it means that when the exploit runs, it doesn't always manage to hack the console first time. So with this left on, it will simply keep trying until it successfully loads our GoldHEN payload. So we do need to leave that checked on. The next setting then is this auto run checkbox. So as I said earlier, GoldHEN is not a persistent mod. So when you power off the console or it crashes, you have to go through this process of changing the network settings and running the exploit to reactivate it. So this setting here will get the console to do this itself once you turn the power back on. Now it can't change the network settings for you, so you need to leave them as they are now if you want this auto turn on to work. If you switch over to Wi-Fi for some real internet access, then you'll need to reactivate the code as normal. But it can be useful if you leave your console disconnected from the web. So for this video, I'm going to check this box. Once we turn on the auto run, we also need to check the box which is the GoldHEN detection. So that just will make sure that when the system tries to restart an auto run, it will first of all have a look and see if GoldHEN is already up and running, and if it is, then it won't try to overwrite it, and that just helps increase the stability of the system. We now need to click the Update Configuration button to save these settings, and if you then scroll back down to the bottom of the screen, you'll see a back button to get back to the main PPPwn home screen. So now we can actually run our PPPwn exploit. So this will bring up a progress window that doesn't really show much information, just that the exploit is running. What you will see, hopefully, are some network error messages on your PlayStation 3 as the Luckfox microcontroller tries to trigger the exploit. Now, it might take a couple of goes, but eventually you should then get a PPPwn message, followed by a few other pop-ups showing you the various parts of the exploit completing and getting themselves set up. So at this point then, you should be able to get back out to the XMB, and you should now have a GoldHEN option at the far left of your menu. So congratulations, your console is now modded. Now before you start playing around with the homebrew apps, there is one setting in GoldHEN that you should really turn on. So in the main GoldHEN menu, select the Settings option, and this is where you can tell GoldHEN to stay active while the console is in rest mode. Now, if you don't set this setting, then you'll need to reactivate the exploit each time the console comes out of rest mode. Now, do be aware though that there is a bit of a bug in the code where it does crash the console sometimes as you enter rest mode. So don't be alarmed if this restarting process doesn't go as normal every time. It may also pop up an error saying that it's checking your hard disk. Again, that's because the console did crash. So just let that run through and then things should pop back up again. So you've now got GoldHEN activated, and you can start to use all the great features of a homebrewed console. So do make sure to check out my PlayStation 4 playlist to get my full set of PlayStation 4 videos as I make them. Again, I'm at this point in time with this video being made, I'm just at the start of making all these videos. So I will be covering how to play games from backup files, how to run PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games. Sorry, there's no PlayStation 3 as yet on the PlayStation 4. And also then how to use the PlayStation 4 to emulate a whole range of other retro consoles from things like Atari, Sega and Nintendo, plus of course all the other homebrew setup and playing around with that. So please do make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for those other videos, and lots more than gaming, modding, electronics and making episodes. I look forward to seeing you again very soon, and bye for now. For more games programming, electronics projects and retro gaming, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my website.